Montez Ford launched himself over the top turnbuckle to the floor, crashed into Seth Rollins with every single ounce of his body, and the Schottenstein Center in Columbus, Ohio lost its mind. Welcome to Slam Nation, the ultimate home for the most insane, unpredictable, and explosive wrestling drama on the planet. This was not a conversation. This was not a negotiation. This was two of the most gifted, most dangerous athletes on Monday Night Raw stepping into that squared circle and trying to physically destroy each other for 10 straight minutes of absolute chaos. And when it was all said and done, only one man was left standing. If you love WWE drama and insane wrestling moments like this, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to Slam Nation, and turn on notifications because things are only getting crazier from here. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now because I want to know whose side you are on. The bell had not even finished ringing before the intensity was already off the charts. Collar and elbow, both men immediately fighting for position, wrestling each other into the corner with neither one willing to give an inch. Referee Chad Patton stepped in to force the break and Rollins looked him dead in the eyes and shoved Montez Ford as hard as he could. Dirty. Disrespectful. Pure Seth Rollins. Ford did not flinch. He got right back in Rollins' face and pieced him across the jaw with a pie face of his own. That was the match. That one exchange told you everything. These two were not here to put on a performance. They were here to prove something, and the only language they were speaking tonight was violence. Rollins shot in immediately with a double leg takedown and went straight to ground and pound, raining down punches from the top. But Ford refused to just absorb it. He rolled Rollins over and fired back with punches of his own, and now both men were on the mat throwing hands in the middle of the ring while the Columbus crowd was already on their feet screaming. But what happened next shocked everyone. Rollins rocked Ford with a massive big boot that sent him crashing all the way to the floor. Seth did not wait. He bounced off the ropes at full speed and flew through the air with a suicide dive that connected perfectly and sent Ford slamming into the barricade. The crowd erupted. Rollins stood over him for a split second with that wild look in his eyes, that look that says he is in a completely different zone. But Montez Ford was not going to let Seth Rollins be the only one flying tonight. Ford got back into the ring, used the ropes to create distance, and then launched Rollins right back to the floor on the opposite side. And then Ford hit a suicide dive of his own that blew the roof off the arena. The two men crashed together so hard on the floor that fans in the front row stumbled backward. Both men were already hurting. Both men were already breathless. And the match had barely started. Fans could not believe what they were seeing. Back inside the ring, both men ended up on their knees simultaneously and started trading punches in the dead center of that canvas. No technique. No strategy. Just two warriors on their knees refusing to go down, throwing everything they had left at each other. The crowd was counting along with every single exchange, getting louder and louder, because what was happening in front of them was something completely different from your average Raw match. Ford got to his feet first and landed several heavy shots to the back of Seth's head. Rollins tried to fire back and actually attempted to lock in a pedigree right there in the middle of the ring. Montez Ford reversed it immediately. These two knew each other's offense too well. Every move was being scouted in real time and the pace of this match was absolutely relentless. Ford climbed to the top rope looking to put this thing away early. Seth Rollins had other plans. Rollins exploded off the mat, climbed up after Ford, and drilled him with a thunderous superplex that shook the entire ring. But Rollins did not let go. He held on, rolled through, lifted Ford back up, and spiked him with a falcon arrow right into the canvas. The crowd erupted again. Rollins went for the cover. 1, 2. Ford kicked out with authority. This completely changed everything. Rollins was now fully locked in, fully focused, and dangerous in a way that only Seth Rollins can be. He went for the pedigree again. Ford countered again. And now they were rolling through near fall after near fall, each man covering the other, each man kicking out at the last possible millisecond. The Columbus crowd was going absolutely insane because they had no idea who was going to win this match. Then both men unloaded on each other with super kicks simultaneously, and the sound when those boots connected echoed through the entire arena. Rollins finally got hold of Ford's arms, hooked both legs, and drove him into the mat with a pedigree. He covered. 1, 2. Ford kicked out. Nobody expected this moment. Rollins could not believe it. The pedigree, one of the most devastating finishing maneuvers in the history of this industry, and Montez Ford kicked out. Seth actually tried talking to Ford in that moment. He looked down at him and told him they needed to work together. He was trying to get in his head, trying to break his focus, trying to use words as a weapon because his hands were not finishing the job. Ford's response was to slap Seth Rollins directly across the face. The WWE Universe exploded after this happened. Seth Rollins snapped. Completely. He grabbed Ford and drove him into the turnbuckle with a buckle bomb so violent that Ford bounced out of the corner like a ragdoll. Rollins dragged him right back and hit a second buckle bomb. He went for a third. But Ford planted his feet, pushed off the ropes, and sent Rollins flying all the way to the floor with everything he had left. And then Montez Ford did something that made every single person in that building forget how to breathe. He sprinted toward the turnbuckle, leapt up onto the top rope, and launched himself completely over it, crashing down onto Seth Rollins on the floor outside the ring. The arena absolutely erupted. Ford rolled Rollins back inside, climbed to the top, and hit a frog splash. He covered. 1, 2. Rollins kicked out. Ford was not done. He climbed back up for the 450 splash, the move that has put away so many opponents before tonight, the move that was about to end Seth Rollins' night right there in Columbus, Ohio. Nobody was in the ring when he landed. Rollins moved. Just barely. Just enough. Ford crashed into the canvas hard with nothing to absorb the impact but the mat itself. Rollins was already rising. The crowd knew what was coming. Seth's eyes went blank, he stomped his foot, and he drilled Montez Ford with the stomp right in the center of the ring. He barely draped the back of his hand across Ford's chest for the cover. The referee counted 3. Seth Rollins wins. But the chaos was nowhere close to over because the moment that bell rang, Angelo Dawkins started making his way toward the ring and Austin Theory came from out of nowhere and buried a steel chair directly into Dawkins' back. Theory kept swinging, over and over. Referee, officials, nobody could stop him fast enough. The Vision made their presence felt again on the most brutal terms possible, and Raw descended into complete mayhem as the segment came to an end. Seth Rollins stood in that ring having just beaten Montez Ford, but the war was just getting started, because now Dawkins is hurt. Now Ford has no partner. And the one man capable of helping them is the same man Montez Ford just spent 10 minutes trying to take apart. Everything has shifted on Monday Night Raw and the road to Clash in Italy just got 10 times more dangerous. Who is going to pay the price next? And when Seth Rollins and Montez Ford finally decide whether they are enemies or allies, what does that mean for everyone standing in their way? You already know what to do. Smash that like button right now, subscribe to Slam Nation if you are not already on board, and share this video immediately because this story is only getting bigger from here. Drop your comment below right now and tell me, should Montez Ford trust Seth Rollins or is he walking straight into the biggest mistake of his career? Slam Nation wants to hear from you. We will see you in the next one.